Friday night, after the conclusion of the Busch North race here at Dover Downs, we sat down 5 very influential people in this sport. They were Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, Michael Waltrip, Jeff Burton, and from the car owner side, Ray Evernham. We all know what happened on September 11th. Of course, we'll never forget it. But it has impacted different people in different ways, and it has certainly impacted this sport. We began our roundtable discussion with the impact on these 5 gentlemen.
It's been almost unthinkable to watch. You know, we never imagined anything like this was going to happen. I think we got so comfortable with what we had in the United States, and especially in our profession here. I mean, we took so many things for granted, and to think that somebody could come in here and do this to us and disrupt us like this, just couldn't imagine that happening. So I think it's been in disbelief more than anything that this has actually taken place so close to us. Before, everything seemed to be removed. You know, it was stuff that we heard about and knew about was taking place, but it's been terrible. I mean, having no idea what these people must be going through, you know, you can only imagine a little bit the hurt and the pain, but to imagine, you know, most of us, all of us, have been to New York and you know, have probably been to right inside of those buildings, and to think of the destruction there now is just incredible.
Did you go to the Trade Center last year?
No, that wasn't on part of our visit. It didn't seem like we went there, but I have been by there before in past visits to New York, and you know, like Dale said, it's just incredible to see all that happen. And you know, we were in Kansas City testing when that happened. You know, you think about running, and it's like, no, I don't want to practice today, and we just loaded up and left after, you know, watching the events. And you know, it happened on our turf. You know, like you said earlier, we didn't think it would happen, and it's like, well, this is over here now. It's in this, you know, in the United States, in this area. It's not a natural disaster. It's, you know, somebody set out to do this, and that's kind of mean. You know, you teach your kids not to do mean things, and you don't do mean things to other people, and it really hurts to watch what happened. And you can only imagine the people that suffered through this. You can't imagine it. Just unbelievable. So been to New York won't be the same. I mean, not without the buildings like they are. I mean, it's just not going to be the same, but very, very sad.
You grew up in the shadow of them.
It hit really close to home. It's about 12 miles across the water. I lived on the other side of the bay, where used to be able to look at the end of our street and watch those buildings growing up, being built when we were in grammar school. Talked to a lot of friends and family in New Jersey, and just kind of everybody met at the end of the street there. There were thousands of people, and they were just devastated. A lot of people from the surrounding towns where I lived in Hazlitt, but of course in the Homedale area and Rumson area, a lot of people were involved. Still a lot of people missing from that area, so it hit close to home, and it's something that I've not experienced or had to experience in my whole life, and it's been pretty devastating.
You've been watching the coverage?
I've watched a great deal of it. You know, our generation has been really spoiled. We haven't had to deal with a lot of things that the previous generations have. We haven't had a major conflict, you know, with ground troops and obviously with anything of this degree. So it really struck me, because before my wife's grandfather passed away, he was a World War II veteran, and he used to tell me stories. And a lot of those stories that he told me as I was watching what was going on, I started imagining these things happening. And we in our generation, I don't think we have the appreciation for the fight that has taken place to make things the way they are today. And watching that and having the experience to spend time with him and talk to him about what went on, it was really scary.
Michael, your thoughts?
Just hurt, you know. I never will. What happened on September 11th is now a part of me. It's inscripted in what I am. I never will be able to put that behind me. I'm sad. I'm angry. I can't believe that people are raised to do that, because like Dale said, we don't do people wrong, you know. We try to be good to each other, and so what happened was just a terrible wrong. And then on the other hand, I'm inspired and I'm thankful for those wonderful firefighters and rescue workers and Americans that marched into that building to try to save people. I mean, that building was burning, but they didn't care. They wanted to help people out. And so that made me happy. And, you know, when I think about that difference, it reminds me a whole lot of February 18th, when my whole world was just wonderful. I was so excited after winning our biggest race. Well, or heck, for me, winning any race, you know, just winning, I was so happy. And then we experienced that great loss afterwards. And so I've been through this before, but, you know, as Americans, we go on. That's what we do. And we don't go on because we have forgotten or we don't care. We go on because that starts us to healing. That makes us better. You know, a lot of people make a big deal out of what we do. Are y'all going to race? Are the football players going to play? And it is big to us because that's our world. But could you imagine having to march back into New York City and go up in your office and be a banker or be a lawyer or be a broadcaster and look out your window and those buildings aren't there anymore? You know, those people I just hurt for. And I mean, it's just crazy. I've never been able to get it figured out in my mind.
I sat there and spoke with those 5 gentlemen for about 40 minutes on a various wide range of topics, including their perspective now on racing after what's happened, the responsibility of continuing to be a role model because of what they do and how successfully they do it, and for their personal messages to the race fans. And unfortunately, because of the length of today's race and the time constraints, we won't be able to get into those topics today, but we'll be saving them for down the road. We do want to take just a moment to thank Dale Jarrett, Michael Waltrip, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton, Ray Evernham, their families, and certainly their sponsors for taking time out on a very busy Friday night to discuss those topics with us. And we also want to salute our crew, which did an outstanding job at lighting that and getting set, so we didn't occupy too much of their time. And by the way, one more note about the fans, because those drivers really did want the opportunity to talk to the race fans. The fans here today at Dover were tremendous. They came wearing red, white, and blue. They came carrying red, white, and blue. They sang, they chanted, and they saluted everyone with perhaps the most, well, the loudest ovation, I think, was probably the moment of silence. We'll be back to Dover in just a moment.